I'm going to put this side on the corrosion right here. And look at that. Infinite resistance. So it's treating this as an open circuit. There's no way for electricity to flow from one end of the strap to the other.
Pushrod Fury. All right, Pushrod Fury here, and we've got another project. So clearly I've got an issue. I can't take on with this. Right, I can't say no to old bikes. But what we're going to cover today is what you have to do. And so I got into this because I'm watching YouTube channels and I'm watching kind of like questionable stuff going on with like the people that've got like better algorithm stickiness than I do. But anyway, one thing I've seen over and over again are folks that they get an old bike, they're like, wow, will it start? And first thing they do is they hook it up to like a jumper pack and they hit the starter button or whatever. And what I've noticed is more than once, they burn up something electrical. And so when you're watching these, it doesn't necessarily announce. The bike doesn't say, hey, you just burned this up. It manifests as something else that doesn't make any sense, but is probably the result of attempting to start the bike. And so one of the worst things you can do is attempt to start a vintage motorcycle right after a find. Don't do that. What you want to do instead is protect the bike and keep your lights from going off. What you want to do is make sure that your grounds are clean and all of your electrical connectors are clean. So your electrical system has to be in good shape before you apply voltage and before you start to draw current. So I'm going to show you what I just found. But first, let's take a look at our next project. Again, my garage is not the tidiest, but you guys already know that. 73 XLH. I already have the seat off. It has a gorgeous buddy seat with the buddy bar. And I got the bike. I bought the bike sight unseen, so I just saw it on Instagram and bought it. And when I got it back, I found a couple things that were immediate red flags. But I just want to share with you, never ever start a vintage bike that's been in the crypt. So I checked. This is the grounding strap. I removed it. And you see some melted plastic, which means this grounding strap got really, really hot. And the only reason a grounding strap should get hot, or would get hot, that hot, would be that something is impeding, right, the flow of electricity from one end to the other. I cleaned this side with a wire brush, and I have not cleaned this side yet. And take a look at that. So I'm going to show you by using a multimeter what's wrong with this grounding strap and what we're going to do to fix it. And why it caused it to get so hot that it touched something plastic and melted it right there. But you can imagine this could fry all kinds of components in your electrical system by not having a proper ground and by having a ground that has really high impedance, okay, high resistance. I'm sure you've all used multimeters, but here the probes are not touching and you get that message, and that means you have an open circuit. When you touch the probes together, you get all zeros. So you're down to 0.0 ohms. And that's what you want on all electrical paths in your system, unless there's a resistor or so on that would create higher ohms, or your manual says, like if you're checking a coil or something like that. But for a trace from one end of a conductor to another, that's what you want to read. Okay? Now, I'm going to take this strap, this grounding strap, and I just tried this, and we're going to watch how this turns out. So, again, I'm sorry that it's a little weird as far as the lighting goes and the focus. I'm going to put this side here that I just cleaned. It's nice and clean. I'm going to put this side on the corrosion right here. And look at that. Infinite resistance. So mega ohms, 15 million ohms. So it's easy to imagine that electricity really wants to get through here. This is a giant resistor at this point, and it's going to get extremely hot. It's going to draw a boatload of current and cause all kinds of trouble. Okay, so see those two holes? The strap was loosely
bolted to that back hole. I think you can see that. And you can see, sure, you got the threads of the bolt that go through there, but the strap itself isn't making contact with the frame. It's just the head of the bolt touching the strap and the bolt threads going through. We want as much contact to the frame as possible. So we're going to clean that up, and we're going to put dielectric grease on it, and then we'll attach that grounding strap once we've got it all cleaned up and polished.
Okay, I believe the ends of this are lead, so I don't want to go bananas on this. Looks like it's lead, so it's got indentations from the hardware. So I'm just going to sand it a little bit. You see this? See that like corrosion right there? It's like darkened. I still get resistance if I touch only there. So I'm not too happy with this. So again, I'm going to clean that up more. I'm not going to torture you with it, but I'll continue. And you see what we're trying to do here is get to zero resistance from end to end on this.
Okie dokie. First takeaway, I need clamps, but let's just put the lead in here like that. Let's look at the multimeter. I'm going to just touch the cylinder head. Zero resistance. Zero resistance. So that's what we want. I reinstalled that strap. I sanded the frame, the paint off the frame where the strap touches the frame, just so we have more surface area, and I put dielectric grease on the frame too. Oops, you can see I had kiloohm, so I didn't.
So basically that's it. We found that the main ground for the bike was totally corroded. It had to be cleaned up. Got that taken care of, and now we've checked and we've got zero resistance between that strap, the engine, and the chassis. So everything looks great from that standpoint. Stick around for more, subscribe, like, leave a comment, and we'll keep plowing through this project.